Big breaking news here. Trump and China have agreed to a 30-day pause on his reciprocal tariffs that introduced tariffs of 145% on China in what could be dubbed as capitulation day. Let's head on over here to Mediaite, where it says Trump admin and China agree to slash tariffs in shocking trade war truce. The Trump administration and China have agreed to a 90-day pause in their bruising trade war on Monday, a sudden thaw in relations that slashes reciprocal tariffs by 115% in a deal brokered by during high-stakes weekend talks in Switzerland. The move was confirmed by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who told reporters the consensus from both delegations this weekend was neither side wants a decoupling. Bessent also praised Chinese officials for engaging seriously on fentanyl, saying it was the first time the Chinese side understood the magnitude of what is happening in the U.S. The truce peels back some of the harshest duties imposed under President Donald Trump's April tariff hike, which sent U.S. levies on Chinese goods soaring to 125%. China hit back with countermeasures and restricted key mineral exports, rattling global supply chains. Under the new agreement, China's tariffs drop to 10%, while U.S. tariffs fall to 30%, though the 20% fentanyl-related tariff remains untouched. Chinese Commerce Ministry called the move a win for producers and consumers in both countries, urging Washington to completely correct its unilateral trade posture. Markets rallied in response to the news. China's currency surged to a 6-month high, while European indexes climbed across the board. Wow, oh wow. So Trump here in his haphazard trade war, what he's done is he has totally damaged United States global standing and how we're perceived by many of our different trading partners, and all for what, right? It's been reported in the last few days and weeks that what's been happening is that different CEOs have been going to the White House and telling Trump, hey, dude, these tariffs are going to cause COVID level supply chain disruptions. There are going to be COVID level of shortages of things in stores across the country. And to me, I think it's really that image, the potential image of empty store shelves that ultimately has gotten Donald Trump to back down. But how good of a negotiator does this show that Donald Trump is, right? He said just last week that these tariffs are permanent, never ever coming down, because if he was to lower the tariffs, then why would anyone want to bring their manufacturing here to America, which was apparently the whole point of Trump implementing tariffs on China and on other countries. So are we really in a situation where we're better off before January 20th? No, we're not. We're just in a better situation than we were when these tariffs were first announced. But I don't think Donald Trump gets very much credit here for absolutely decimating the economy and then walking back this trade war because of the effects that it's already having on all sorts of different things. Strollers are 25% higher than they were before these tariffs were put into effect already right now on Mother's Day. Mothers across this country going to get strollers are experiencing sticker shock. And, it's where, again, we're not in a better place than we were before Trump was inaugurated. So anybody in the media or anybody in MAGA out there going, oh, look at how great Trump is at negotiating and look how fast he was able to strike a deal with China. No, what happened is China called Trump's bluff and said, we don't believe you when you say that these tariffs are permanent, and we're going to hold our ground. That's what they did. And now we're down to just 30% tariffs. But again, 30%, that's still costs going up for many, many Americans in this country. So we've gone from prices are going to jump a whole lot to prices are going to still rise, just not as much as was anticipated before. So is the American consumer in a better off spot now than they were before Trump was inaugurated? The answer is no, they are not. And this is not some sign of Trump's great negotiating skills. It's just a sign that the world doesn't believe Donald Trump when he says that these tariffs are permanent. And really, if anything, it shows how weak of a negotiator Donald Trump is, in that we're not striking any deals that are putting anybody better off, making anybody in this country any better off than they were beforehand. And again, if Donald Trump's point, right, was to no, okay, these tariffs are permanent and the world has to deal with it. Okay, well, maybe that could have been something where there would be some sort of manufacturing, there would be some incentive for companies to come and manufacture their goods in the United States and build factories in the United States, which is something that is going to take years and years for any companies that even did decide to do that, for them to ultimately build companies and staff them and start producing here in the United States. That's not something that is going to just happen like the snap of Trump's fingers, like he was acting like it was going to back in early April. But now these tariffs are low enough where that in the only, perhaps the only upside to Trump's negotiating strategy is now out the window, because now there's absolutely no reason for any companies to bring their manufacturing to the United States. So ultimately, what is the point of these tariffs, and are we better off than we were beforehand? The answer is a resounding no, we are not. And I think eventually we're going to get back down to more or less where we were at before Trump's Liberation Day or whatever. And really what we're witnessing here is Capitulation Day. And I don't think that this is the win that the Trump administration is trying to spin it as, and some in the media are spinning it as, because again, we're not better off than we were before January 20th, when there was, no reciprocal tariffs that are raising costs for Americans whatsoever.